going to be successful. Like, I know that I have a purpose. I have, even if I'm not there yet, like, I know that I have what's inside of me. David always says, like, if you want to be a millionaire, act like it. And even if you think you know, act like you don't know. It's like, stop using your own brain and start using my brain. Ask questions, like, just be coachable.
What I love is that even though she may be at the top, she still remains coachable.
I basically, like she was just talking about, I was just very, very coachable. I pick on Bianca all the time and call her my final expense mom.
Investing in yourself, right? Like,
hello. Welcome, Marketing for Insurance Agents. How are you guys doing? We are so excited. Yes, I know I'm not David Denning. You guys are getting Trista today. David and Elle are out, and so they have trusted me. I'm not David Denning. Don't look like him. Look much different. My name is Trista Giancotti, and I am one of the coaches here inside of the Closers Click, which is also connected with Marketing for Insurance Agents, and I am the training specialist and lead sales coach. So I get to work with agents every single day and to be able to teach and do what I'm passionate about is seeing agents just like Bianca, just like Amy succeed in their agencies and within their business. And so that's just a little bit about me. I'm going to ask Bianca really quick if she would love to introduce herself, tell us a little bit about her background, how she got started in insurance, where she's located at, and then I'm going to ask Amy to do the same thing. So, Miss Bianca, welcome to your very first live within Marketing for Insurance Agents. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I'm super honored. I was wondering when I was going to get a chance to do one of these. So I'm Bianca. They call me Lady on Fire. I am 31 years old and I live in Lafayette, Louisiana. I am a mother of 2 small children, 4 and 8. And I've been in the insurance industry. It's been almost 4 years. In April, it'll be 4 years. Prior to getting my insurance license, I was a bartender and a waitress. I did that for a while. And then I really felt a call to get into school to go in for counseling and social work. So I started working at a treatment center. And prior to getting my insurance license, I was doing that for the past 5 years. So never really had any sales experience, never did anything like this before, but I did lose my job back in 2018. And I just felt like a shift, like I needed something different. I never made more than $2,000 in a month before. And I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had to support 2 children. And, I just started praying really like being open-minded to what else is there out there for me to, create financial freedom and to have a schedule where I can be flexible and be able to take care of my children. And literally like a week later, I was approached by 3 different people about selling life insurance. And one of them, I'm sure y'all all know who he is, David Price, just happened to be one of them. And, he just made it seem really simple. I'm like, well, if you could do it, I know I can do it. And, the rest is history, basically.
Awesome.
So, glad to be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bianca. I appreciate it. I'm glad that I got to do the interview with you, not David. So.
I know, right?
I'm just kidding. Perfect. Awesome. Amy, welcome to MFIA. I was super excited to have you as well. Tell us a little bit about you, really how you got started, a little bit about your background. And I know all these comments, people are super excited to hear from both of you guys. So Amy, give it away.
Yeah. So my name is Amy Bush. I am 36 and located in a small town in West Virginia. So I am, remote. I have been in insurance now for about 10 months. Before that, I've done a little bit of everything. I was always very passionate about what, I was doing in life. But when COVID hit, I lost my job. And I worked for a family-owned company, and they done me kind of wrong. Like I didn't get my unemployment benefits and all this. It was just really bad. So right at that point, I knew like I'm not going to work for anybody else. My parents, they've been entrepreneurs my entire life. I've watched them. I've watched my mom on the phone like my whole life as a secretary. And at that point, I actually had another little small business license, and I would do like baked goods and crafts, and I was just hustling right at the flea markets and and festivals and just making ends meet that way. And winter came, there's a lot of snow where I'm at. I couldn't sit at the flea market anymore. And I basically just started praying. I said, I laugh now because I said, Lord, like I'll do almost anything. And this is where he put me. We got COVID. I was in the house. I was locked up on the computer. Like, Lord, there has to be something I can do from home. I just kept searching and searching and searching. I tell everybody I started studying before I started studying. I wanted to make sure I knew what I was getting myself into. I checked out all the routes of insurance. Life insurance just spoke to me. I ran into David Price on his webinar, and lovely Bianca is my mentor, by the way. I've learned everything from her. It's been amazing. And it's just been life-changing. So I'm a single mom also, 2 little boys. I've been able to do all of this with them around. I don't have a lot of help, so I'm able to build my business with them around. And it's been amazing. Life-changing opportunity. I'll never do anything else in my life.
Awesome. I love it. I love that both of your stories and just where you guys come from. And I think it just really goes into defying the odds. And we're going to talk about that today. Bianca, as she said, this is her 4th year going into this. And she started just like any other person, just starting to sell. She was door knocking, and she was determined. She had this grit. I remember her telling me this in an in-person training about this grit that she had to be the best that she could be, to push herself, to be outside of this comfort zone. So she had something to prove, not to anybody else, but to herself. And she had 2 little kids that were looking up to her. And so she wanted to make this great first impression on them as well. And so, guys, she hit 6 figures within the first year of being an agent. And just this year, 2022, she closed out her agency with her people underneath her. They did a total of $1.5 million in helping protect people. Like, first of all, that's a huge number, 1.5 million. But then if you think about that, how many lives that her and her team were able to protect. And so we have her number 1 producer on here today as well. And Miss Amy, I was actually able to see a lot of her in action when she went through the Producers Academy. And to go from doubling her production and hitting a record-breaking $30,000 in 1 month, guys. 1 month. Not 2 months, not 3 months, but 1 month. $30,000 in premium. And what's incredible, and I've already said it, is that it's a lot of lives that she's protecting, both of them, this entire agency. And so I want to start with you, Miss Bianca, if that's okay. I want to start with Bianca. Bianca, tell us a little bit about how you started. I know you kind of shared with, you were looking and you came across this webinar with David Price, but really what made you say, like, get that grit? What made you say, you know what, I'm going to defy the odds. I'm going to do this, and nobody else has done this before. I'm going to be the best that I can be. Can you take us back to that moment when you decided, and really what it was that keeps you going every single day to be the best? Because, guys, she's on the trajectory right now to be a $3 million agency by the end of this year. She's going to double in 1 year. So, Bianca, what's your secret?
So, I mean, for like the last 10 years, I've kind of always I've overcome a lot of adversity in my life. May 3rd of this year, I'll be 10 years sober from and alcohol. And so, just knowing that, I can do that, like, I know I can do anything, right? And, the people that I've had in my corner over the last 10 years have always told me, like, you can do anything that you want to. And I know that I can. Like, if this person can do it, I know that I can do it. I just have to know exactly what they did, how did they do it, and model, what it is that they're doing. And I can get the same results. Like, that's my mentality. And I know that's why I've been able to achieve the type of things I've been able to achieve, because I just believe it, And so when I first started, I was still in school. And so I was like, started really like part-time. Like, I was like, David, like, I don't know. Like, I just kind of really want to do this part-time because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make enough money. Like, I didn't really know what was going on. But I knew that, like, people were having success with this. And, like I said, if they could do it, I could do it. So, I was door knocking at first. I was going out after I would get out of class. And I just really wasn't seeing the results, giving like half measures. And so, May was like summer semester, and I was like, all right, David, like I'm ready to just like go all in. Like I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Like I'll follow the system. And so he's like, all right, so you got to take leads every week. You got to call me after every house. Like you got to go out like every day. And so that's what I did. I went out and I was knocking on doors. I was talking to leads. After every single failed attempt, like if I didn't close a sale, I was calling David. I didn't care. He was still selling at the time, David Price. I was calling him. I was blowing up his phone if he didn't answer. I was like, look, this is what I said. What should I have said instead? Like, how can I close these deals? Like, how can I help these people? And there was like a 3-week period where like I didn't sell anything, but like I knew that something was happening because I was doing the work. So I'm like, well, it's bound to pay off at some point. And I remember like the first sale that I closed after that 3 weeks, like this guy just handed me a check and I was like, okay, I can do this, and it was all pretty much downhill from there. And so I think my first full month, I wrote like $18,000 in AP. And then the very next month, like all of the leaders were going to, like everybody in Senior Life who were top producers, they were going to an incentive trip. And I couldn't go because I just started. And I was like, David, I feel like I can be #1 agent in the country. Actually, I know that I can be #1 agent in the country. I need you to help me be able to do this. And he was like, you absolutely can. And he's like, all right, you need to get, 40 leads a week. Like you need to be knocking on doors, working every single day, like just going hard. And so I'm like, all right, I can do it. And so every single day for that month, I went for it. I sat my mom down and I was like, look, my first year, I got to make 6 figures. It's going to pay off. I need you to help me with my children. You got to make this happen. Cause I had like a newborn at the time. My son was like really, really young. And she was like, all right, Bianca, I got you. And so my second month with Senior Life, I did become the #1 agent and I wrote over $41,000 in AP. And I say that because like I said, the beginning started off kind of rough, but like I didn't quit and I just kept going and I kept tweaking things and I kept reaching out to my mentor and I kept following the system. I kept reaching out and like, hey, this is what I'm doing. It's not working. Like, do you have any advice? And I just kept going. Like I knew that like, hey, look, I have to make this work. And it paid off. So, that grit really comes from really just my life experiences. People see like your glory, right? Like all the great stuff that's happened, but they don't really know like your story to really get to that point. It's not like I just woke up and I was just successful. Like,
Yeah.
I really went through a lot of adversity and I got knocked down, but I got back up every single time. And I was like, I'm going to be successful. Like, I know that I have a purpose and, I have a reason for being here and I want to win, and I really like just proving people wrong. Like in my earlier life that told me like, you're never going to be anything. Just give up. Like you're better off dead pretty much, and I just wasn't going to accept that, and that's just kind of how I live my life today. Like, nothing's going to stop me. I'm
Yeah.
a guided missile.
I love it. A guided missile. I love it. Bianca, I love what you said though. Like you said that you had got to a point where you said, okay, David, like I'm all in. I'm going to do what you say. And David said, okay. And then you said something, you said like, I want to be. And then you said, no, I will be the #1 agent within the company. Where was it for you that kind of shifted to say, okay, I want to be to I will be? What was that happened within you that did that? Because there's a lot of insurance agents that may be watching today that say, I want to be this. I want to be #1. I want to be the best insurance agent. I want to be this. But there's a shift. There's something that changes when we go from I want to I will. Can you talk about that, Bianca?
Yeah. It's just the belief, and just really speaking your destiny, like speaking what is already meant for you. Like I already know that I'm #1. Like that's the type of confidence that I have, even if I'm not there yet. Like I know that I have what's inside of me to be able to do that. It's just the belief. Like I have to believe in myself that really it's already happened.
Yeah.
Like it's already happened. And like everything I do needs to emulate me being #1, right? Just like, David always says, like, if you want to be a millionaire, act like it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say like I want to make $1 million, but have a 9 to 5 mentality,
Yeah.
And so, I am, this has already happened,
Yeah.
I already speak today that like it's actually 5 million is my goal, but we are a $5 million agency, like it's
Mhm.
already done,
Yeah.
I write the vision down and it's just, I believe that it's going to happen. I know that I can do anything that I want to do.
Absolutely. I love that. Take us back to Bianco. Like, okay, now you went from you're just a single agent, really following what David Price is telling you to do, and you're writing business, and you started out and you were determined and you hit that six figure. When did you start growing your agency and start saying, okay, now I'm going to help agents have the success that I had? And now, here comes Amy that's coming in, and now she's like your top dog on your team, one of your top dogs. But what was that transition like from going from 100% writing to now you're building an agency? Because there's a lot of agency owners that are in that place right now to where they're the ones that are solely producing to now they want to build an agency or they want to empower their team to be able to be a $1.5 million agency, a 3 million, a 5 million, whatever their goals are. What was that for you? And talk to us about that transition and how you did it. And what would you say to those that are listening that find themselves in the same position that you were in?
So, I mean, just with the life-changing opportunity that we have, just having a insurance license, like being able to, I mean, you have the ability to make a six-figure income without any type of college education. I don't really think people really realize like what kind of opportunity you have when you get your insurance license. And it really comes down to what you do with that opportunity. And so, to me, like being able to take full advantage of it my very first year and to really see the blessing of what I was able to accomplish. I'm like, oh my God, like I got to share this with people, And so I love to help people, and I know that I can't keep what I have unless I give it away. And so, I have to share with other people like, hey, look, you have the same exact opportunity as me. Is what you do with it. And so it was really like a mindset shift. Like I went
Mm,
from, you know, and I still write business. Like I love to produce. I love helping my clients. Like I love that. But just duplicating myself and showing other people. And it's not just about selling insurance. It's about the opportunity that we have here to really create a life beyond our wildest dreams. And life
mm,
insurance is the vehicle that we have to be able to do that. And so, really I started sharing it, the opportunity with like my friends, my family. David, helped me hire some people and, was really just took me under his wing and showed me like how to coach and how to mentor people. Cause, I'm like, just watch me and you could do it. Right. But there's like a certain level of like, you really have to show somebody like, hey, here is the path. And so it didn't happen overnight. Like a lot of the people that I hired in the beginning are no longer with me.
mm.
We work with the people that are willing and the people that are committed.
Yeah,
And this business is not for everybody, right? Some people come and some people go, but at the end of the day, like we just keep planting seeds. We
yeah,
plant seeds, we water them and watch them grow, and it's just you're I look at myself as kind of like a gold miner, right? I'm sifting through dirt, like trying to find the gold, right?
yeah,
Trying to find those 1% of people that really want to make a change and really want to be successful with this. And so, it happened over a period of time, right? Like it was very discouraging in the beginning. I'm like, man, none of these people are staying, like they're not
yeah,
producing. And I'm sure a lot of people do feel that way. But you don't make them, you find them.
yeah,
So you find the people that have certain things inside of them, work ethic, desire, drive, the right type of attitude, and you just plug them into this and, just watch them flourish. And I'm really excited, for Amy. She's amazing. She's probably one of the most, dedicated, hardworking, loyal people that I know, and I'm really glad that she's part of my agency and a part of my family.
awesome. I love it. Bianca, one more question before I turn it over to Amy. What would you say is the one thing that you would tell agents who are starting out? What is that one thing that you would tell them to put into place, to do, to implement as a word of encouragement, whatever that may be? What is that one thing that you would tell them to do if they're just starting out?
To be coachable, right?
Mm,
Like empty your cup, and even if you think act like you don't know, and just show up, and utilize your mentor, your upline, David said something really important to me. He's like, stop using your own brain and start using my brain,
Mm.
and that was like a really good piece of advice, for me, because, again, you could think what you need to do or what you need to be or how you need to think, but there's people that are more successful than you. So pour out your cup, show up with an empty cup and just say, like, I'm here, I'm a sponge, tell me what to do, right? Because, like, your thinking got you to the income and the place that you are right here in this moment, right? So for you to be able to get to a higher level, like, you have to think differently, you have to act differently, right? And so, just really utilizing people that are your mentors, your upline, ask questions, like, just be coachable and be a student, and be willing to learn.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I'm gonna say this about Bianca. What I love so much is that I've seen her in the past, like I said, 6 months, and as great as she is, and as amazing as she is, and I can testify, I've seen her in action and live in Florida, not once but twice. I work with her weekly. 3 times a week I meet with this person, with her. And so, because she's part of the Producers Academy, so I get to meet with her twice and then weekly as well. What I love is that even though she may be at the top, she still remains coachable to where she'll still reach out to her upline and say, hey, you know what? I got stumped by this objection. Can you help role play with this objection? And then she goes and she puts it into action. Or she'll call on her upline management and say, hey, can you help me close this deal? Because this is a challenge for me. She's not too prideful to still reach out, to be coachable, and to be humble. So that's a lot to test to Bianca's character. Her number one producer's turn, Miss Amy Bush. I have had the amazing privilege to work with her one-on-one these past 3 months, and I've seen just in those 3 months such growth in her. So, Amy, are you excited?
Oh yeah.
I'm excited too, man. I'm super, super excited. So, Amy, tell us a little bit about how you became so determined to defy the odds and what what went off on you that said, you know what, Trista, Bianca, I'm going to write $30,000 in 1 month. Like, what was it? How did you defy your odds? Because I know, like you've shared, Amy's a single mom as well. She does this. There are times when bless her heart, like her kids are screaming in the background. I'm like, listen, I got 7 kids. I get it. I understand. So how do you get up every morning with that grit, determination? And what was it that you said, this month, I'm going to write $30,000 come hell or high water? And you did it. You didn't just talk about it, but you did it, Amy.
Yeah. So I too have went through a lot of adversity. I joke sometimes that that's my middle name, Amy Adverse. And I have overcome a lot in life. And, I stumbled upon this industry. I had no idea that it was out there, but, I quickly understood that I could definitely support myself and my kids. And I basically, like she was just talking about, I was just very, very coachable. When I do stuff, I do like to do it to the max. I like to understand the ins and outs of everything. I pick on Bianca all the time and call her my final expense mom. So I really did act like I didn't know anything. But yeah, I just get up every day knowing that, I don't have to do this. I get to do this. I do consider it a huge blessing that I'm able. And then when I wrote the 30,000, I basically just had set the goal, like, let's go. And, the very last day of the month, like, I'm talking like minutes before you could get applications sent in, I'm over here, like, doing recordings 3 different times because it didn't go through, and like really just hustling. And even at one point, I told you, I was like, I'll be okay if I can at least write 20. And you're like, no, ma'am, you're going to write 30. So, just having that accountability and people push me to definitely changed things as far as that goes. But just being tenacious, like, I've really just had to just dig my heels in. And there's been days that I've cried, but there's been days that I laugh and I just keep going. And I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity.
That's awesome. Yes, guys, listen, it was probably like a week and a half. I think she had like 9 days left, maybe 7, 9 days. And she messages me and she says, I think I'll just be okay with 20,000. Like, I still beat my biggest production. Like I said, that will still be my biggest month ever. And she is so lucky that it was like 9:30 at night, or I would have jumped in my car and I would have drove to her and like beat it out of her or something, because it was like, absolutely not. Like, you're not. You're going to hit 30,000. You have 9 days. Let's get on a call. We got on a call the very next day. We planned it out. Okay, this is what you have to do for this day, for how many days that we have left. Can you do this? Yes. Okay, then let's get to work. Like, and she did it. I still remember when she closed it, she called crying because she was so excited. And she was like, thank you for not letting me just stop at 20. And I was like, listen, you're going to have not just me coming at you, but Bianca would have came at you. And I don't know who to be more afraid of. So like, you had to write that 30,000. So I love it. Thanks for that. Listen, tell me about, like, how do you overcome obstacles, Amy? Like, you share that you've had a lot of obstacles. You've had a lot of adversity. Like, you laugh about that. And I think people can go into insurance really thinking, like, I know I did, like, okay, this is just, you're going to talk to some people. Everybody needs insurance. So everyone's going to say yes. And no one really prepares themselves for the adversity. Bianca talked about how she went 3 weeks without a sale. And as a salesperson and somebody that, is 100% strictly commission, like 3 weeks without a paycheck can be really bad. It could be detrimental. So how do you overcome those obstacles? How do you overcome the adversity, Amy, that you've experienced in your life?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think you just have to have an open mind to start off with. Going back to my mom, like, she's always told me, like, tough it out, like, you got to keep moving, like, you can't lay down. There's nothing, what's that going to do? So faith is another big thing for me too. Like, I just know that I'll be okay. Like, I just got to keep moving. I know David Price says a lot, like, fail fast, and that's my thing, is like, I knew I would make mistakes. I knew, so make those mistakes as fast as you can, basically. I've laid in bed at night, can't sleep because I've made my first sale, or I've laid in bed because I've misspelled somebody's name wrong on an application. Just overcoming all those little things. I don't know. I just headstrong, reading books, I'm constantly reading, but yeah, just faith, just keep pushing
Awesome.
forward.
I love it. And something that you said, and I love what David Price says. He says fail fast, but something I've always had a motto in my life is fail fast, fail often, but always fail forward.
Forward, yeah.
Because, when you get back up from failing, you're going to be much ahead than what you were before. If you fall backwards, then not so much, but always fail forward, because then when you get up, you're further than you were. People can look at it as like, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to do this. And we become fear paralyzed because we don't want to make a mistake. Guys, make them often, make them fast, because the more you make them and the more faster that you make them, the more you learn and the better that you become. And that's what I love about both Bianca and Amy, is that they're both not afraid to fail fast. They're both not afraid to fail often, but they always fail forward. They always remain coachable. They're like, okay, I failed at this, but you know what? The only true way that you can really fail, is that if you don't get back up again. Like, that's the true way of that. And I think that we see that in this business so many times. It's like, oh man, it's hard. I'm quitting. And then they walk away. And insurance is mental toughness. Like, there's something about that type of, you have to have that mental toughness. You have to have it. And Bianca kind of touched on it. It's like that 1%. Like, not everybody can do it, but those that can, it really is a game changer. Insurance can be a vehicle to change your life, to get you to what you want to accomplish, because it's a vehicle to helping you get there, because it is a lucrative business, but it's just not going to just magically fall out of the sky. It's going to take work and hard work. So, Amy, you love to talk about mindset. Talk to us a little bit about how important mindset is in this business.
Well, basically, it's just about everything. Like, we say it's a 1% mindset, because I mean, without that, like, there's no use having any other skills. So Bianca's probably tired of hearing me say this, but this is one of the things that really attracted me to the industry, right? I understood that, like, I needed to self-develop in order to be successful, And my whole entire life, I've picked up some really good pieces throughout life. There's been some really adverse, bad times, but there's been some good ones. So I knew, like, I had that pushing me. Like, I just want to just fine tune this and develop it. So there again, I've been reading a lot of books. We have our meetings, we, constantly working on mindset. And I just, if you believe you can do it, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you act like you're allowed to do it, You can do it. And I have had to get out of my own head, get out of my own way. I think that's a lot of people's problems is like you are your own worst enemy. I've had to find a balance between caring what other people think and being hard on myself. Like, Bianca's even told me like, well, you do kind of have to care a little bit sometimes what they think. And you do kind of have to be hard on yourself sometimes, in order to push forward. So, I've had to really find that balance and just find a lot of lessons in life. Or, in the insurance, making friends with my clients. I'm a pretty bubbly, friendly person. I've kind of had to draw a line sometimes between friend and client, and just figure out the best way to talk to people over the phone. But mindset, yes, it's everything.
I love it. And you guys, I don't know if you guys picked up on it when she was talking earlier, but she said that she doesn't look at it from the viewpoint of I have to get up and do this, but she looks at it and says, I get to get up and do this. Yeah. That's mindset. That's right there is mindset. Like every single day, if you look at things as an insurance agent, like I have to do this, I have to do that, it can be like draining. It can be discouraging. It can be depleting at times. But instead, if you have that mindset of, I get to do this. I get to do that. I get to protect families. I get to go into the office. I get to pour into my team. I get to talk to people. It's a game changer, and it really does come back down to mindset. So, Amy, really quick, Bianca, both of you guys went through the Producers Academy. And so, for those of you guys in the group that don't know what the Producers Academy is, it is a 12-week sales intensive boot camp that really helps agents and their producers be able to double, triple, quadruple their sales. And so Amy was one of the very first that went through our very first class. We're on to our second class now. We open it up every 3 months, and then we close it down for 3 months. And so Amy was one of the very first ones to go through it with Bianca, and it was intense. I have to say, Amy, the second class is a little bit more intense because now I'm like, okay, I want to do this. So Amy probably got out a little lucky there because Bianca's like, what happened to like Producers Academy 2.0? You just went straight to 5.0. I was like, we skipped 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. We just like launched in. We dove in head first. So tell us a little bit, Bianca, really quickly, and then Amy, really quickly, just a little bit about your experience within Producers Academy and how you really saw that change your agency and change and Amy, like just change Amy as well, because Amy went through it.
Yeah. I mean, I really believe in, investing in yourself, right? Like in trainings, masterminds, like I believe that that's really important. And I mean, it's an investment, and to me, when you invest, like you expect to get a return, right? And so that's what I did. I made an investment in Amy and, another agent and even for myself. And I mean, just being able to work very closely with you, Trista, and David and Elle. I mean, y'all are all very successful people. And, again, the modeling, right? Like I need to be around people who have what I want, right? And that's, the success, the mindset, the thought processes, the framework, right, to be able to help me to build my agency. And so that was one thing that attracted me to Producers Academy. And so just being able to work really closely with you, helping me with my agents, helping me become like a better coach and a better mentor to be able to get my team to the next level is, extremely, extremely valuable. I mean, I've definitely seen, Amy change as a result of, some of the trainings that we've done. So, super, super valuable. I mean, if anybody doesn't do it, they're missing out, really.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much, Bianca. What about you, Amy? Going through it as a producer and what was that experience like? Don't be telling everyone I'm a mean coach because that's a secret. Don't be telling people that. I'm just kidding. What was that experience like for you, Amy?
Well, I mean, it was definitely amazing to, networking to start with, networking with other agents, understanding, what other people go through. Yes, you one-on-one coaching, like you even said, you get Coach Trista, not Pastor Trista. And some days I'm like, look, I need a prayer. But no, it was amazing. And, like what Bianca said too about investing in yourself. When I was studying, before I started studying, I understood that part too. You know, people talk about, hey, going to conferences, sleeping on the floor if you have to. Like you have to get there. You have to do that. And there again, going
Yeah.
back to where I do things to the max. Like I want to know, you know, everything. But just being part of Producers Academy, I mean, it really just opened my mind and my eyes up to a lot of different things. You know, now I'm like working on referral programs, like with my son's barber, you know, like understanding how I could get more leads too and not pay for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Building those centers of influence.
Yes, that's
I
it.
love it. I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome.